Hey everybody. People always ask me, Manny, what tools should I be using for my Amazon business? Well, this episode is brought to you by Helium10.com. These are the same tools I use to generate 6 figures per month with Amazon FBA. I get keyword research, product tracking, listing optimization, search term tracking, account monitoring, and a lot of other brand new money pulling tools that are going to be released to Helium 10 members on a regular basis. If you're going to grab any tools, check these out. Seriously, get a massive advantage with the tools that top sellers are using right now. Okay, and they're all in one place. Some tools and services will have a user cap, so get in there as quickly as you can. That's Helium10.com, Helium10.com.
Warning, the following podcast has been classified as insanely lucrative. Listener discretion is advised.
I wanted to hit $250,000 because that was actually what my goal was for the entire year of 2016 when I first started this thing.
Your attention, please. Listening to the AM/PM podcast may cause recurring revenue streams and unfair advantages over your competitors. Other side effects may include fatter wallets, fired bosses, and longer vacations. Listen at your own risk. Here's your host, 7-figure entrepreneur and online marketing madman, Manny Coats. Manny Coats.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the AM/PM podcast. My name is Manny Coats, and I will be your host, and this is the show where we discuss all things Amazon private label related and how to generate recurring revenue streams 24 hours per day during the AM and the PM, hence the name of the show, AM/PM podcast. As a matter of fact, last night, we were just watching a movie. It was a Netflix exclusive. I had low expectations, but it ended up being pretty good, and it was called Spectral. Check it out, guys, if you want, if you're into sci-fi. While I was watching Spectral, I was making money. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. So, guys, I'm excited. 2016 is now gone. It's past. We have begun 2017. And I want to make this episode one that reviews 2016. What happened on my first full year of Amazon private label, my journey through the FBA jungle, right? So, wow, I don't even know where to start, guys. So for those of you that might be new listeners, let me say that I started my journey back in December of 2015, okay? So December of last year, essentially last month, that's when I hit my 1-year mark. So I'm starting month 13, technically. Okay. So I want to talk about, first of all, what I was able to achieve in December. Okay. Some of the good stuff, some of the bad stuff, and also where I ended up being for my first full year in the Amazon business. Where did I end up in 2016, or what did I end up generating and doing in 2016? So we're going to talk about my sales, my profits, some of the cool things that we did in 2016, and just kind of open up a little bit about what I've been doing, okay? And also at the end, I'll talk about where I want things to go. So let's get started here, and let's talk about December, all right, before we start getting into the full year. But December was a very, very interesting an interesting month. There was a lot that was going on. First of all, I ended up signing up for Payability. And I talked about Payability. We interviewed the CEO. And this is a service that allows you to get paid daily, right? And this makes a huge difference when you're starting out, right? Because cash flow is king, all right? In fact, Payability has already paid me more than $250,000 since using their service. So it's really cool. If you want to find out more about it, I did, like I said, an interview with the company a few podcasts back. You'll have to check out the number. I don't have it in front of me, but it's really cool. And we set up a special deal actually for you guys to get better cashback percentages, okay, and a longer free trial. So before you just go over to the site, before you go to payability.com, click through the link. It's an affiliate link, but you're going to get benefits by doing so. And we have that affiliate link. It's going to be in the show notes, and it's also available at ampmpodcast.com/tools. If you just go to the AMPM podcast website and click on the tools section, you'll see it. But Payability is awesome. I can't recommend them enough. It's cool. I wish I would have had them back when I first started. So now that you guys know, if you're new, definitely check it out. I also used Upfund. Okay, Upfund was more of a November thing, but I had generated about $50,000 in crowdfunding and was using that for the revenues that were coming in December, right, by getting that extra inventory. So definitely check them out. Again, they're also on our tool section. So let's talk about some specific numbers in December. So December. What was my worst day in December? Let's talk about that first. Anybody have a guess? Worst day. What could possibly be the worst day in December? Well, for me, it was December 24th. On December 24th, right, Amazon can't get products to you by Christmas, so sales just kind of plummet. So it's expected, and I would expect, unless you guys ran out of inventory, that December 24th might have been your worst day of the month as well. But I ended up generating about $3,200 in sales. Okay, $3,261.33. That was my worst day. My second worst day, can you take a guess what day that would be? That's December 23rd. Again, I think people were done shopping for the holidays. That day, I did $4,948.34. So still a pretty solid day, almost $5,000. So let's talk about my biggest day in December, okay? My biggest day in December, and this is with no discounts, no coupons, lightning deals, or any of that stuff. This is just a standard general sales day. That was December 17th, okay? And that day generated $26,821.59 in sales. So it was a big, big day. Huge. As a matter of fact, it's my newest, biggest day ever, okay? Ever, including any days that I've had lightning deals or anything. This is the highest gross sales day I've ever had since I started, $26,821. That's nuts, right? I mean, if you think about this, my goal when I first started this whole journey back in December of 2015, right, 13 months ago, was to hit 25,000 in sales in the first 90 days. And I did that in one day. So it's just nuts. It boggles my mind how far, the business has progressed. So, okay, now we know the biggest day. We know the worst days. And the worst days weren't really that bad, to be honest. But where were my numbers for December? Okay. I had made a post. Okay. I wrote a post out on our Facebook group. That's the FBA High Rollers. Okay. That my goal for December was to generate $250,000 in sales. I wanted to hit $250,000 because that was actually what my goal was for the entire year of 2016 when I first started this thing. Okay. At the end of 2015, when I was saying, okay, I'm going full force, in 2016, my goal will be to hit $250,000 in sales in the entire year of 2016. So obviously I crushed through that, but I wanted to make that 1 year goal my actual 1 month goal for December, right? Does that make sense? So 250,000. Where did I hit? All right, drum roll, please. The number was $405,930. And there's some cents in there. Okay, so $405,930. Okay, compare this to my previous December. Okay, that was my first actual full month selling on Amazon. Okay, a year earlier, that was $75,710. So $75,000 a year ago, $405,000 this year. It's just crazy. So yeah, wow. Let me look at some of the numbers here. Margins. Let's look at the margins here. For December, out of the $405,000, we had a 26% margin, okay, or that breaks down to roughly about $106,000 in profit. That's after everything, okay? You throw it in there, it's everything, okay? It includes the shipping and the product cost and advertising and refunds, promo codes, the whole 9 yards. So to me, that is just crazy. I mean, first of all, it's the largest profit month that I've ever had, right? $106,000 in profit in a month. And the $405,000 is the biggest month I've ever had ever, right? So by far, and I'm hoping to have more of those huge days in 2017. So let's talk about the yearly number, okay? My yearly number, this is just for 2016. It doesn't include the 1 month, the December month, where I generated $75,000 in sales. It does not include that. So just in 2016, the number was $1.6 million in sales. So $1,670,883. That's crazy, guys. To me, that's, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It blows away what I thought I was going to be able to hit for my first year doing this. So I'm super pumped about it. 1.6 million. Margins, I'm at about, for the year, a little lower than what I was in December, about 22%, or for the year, about $365,000 in profit. Okay, that's pre-tax. So there might be some other small expenses that would come out of there. And of course, that does not include, paying myself or my brother or anything like that. That's just, the profit from the sales of the product. So let's talk about some additional statistics here. The whole year, I see that I've used, it wasn't a lot, not a lot of promos going on. 65 promo codes were used. Okay, I was never a a humongous fan of using promo codes to launch stuff. I would discount things, essentially. And I had a total of 1,064 refunds. Okay, total for the year, 1,064. Might seem like a lot, 1,064, but I had a total of 41,000 orders, which represented almost 50,000 total units ordered. Okay, my refund rate is somewhere right around 2% overall, give or take, right? I'm not doing the exact math here, but just looking at the numbers, that should be about where it's at. Advertising, guys, I spent just shy of $100,000. It looks like it's about $96,000 in sponsored ads in 2016. Okay, and the majority of that is in the first half of the year, because by the second half of the year, I really dialed it way back. Where at one point I was doing, several hundred to even up to $1,000 per day in sponsored ads just for a short while, and then I dialed it back and I was doing only, $100 to $200 per day in sponsored ads. So once everything got set organically. Advertising, so 96,000 roughly in ads, about 175,000 clicks came out of that 96,000. So that's an average of about 55 cents per click. So that gives you some numbers there. Anyways, guys, that's my numbers, 1.6. I'm trying to break it down without going too deep into everything. I don't want to bore you guys to death, but yeah, that's where I was at. Other things that happened, gosh, we almost hit 15,000 members in our FBA High Rollers group by the time New Year's rolled around. I think by the time you listen to this, we'll be over 15,000. And our Merch Elite group, it's another group that we have on Facebook, hit 1,500 members. So that's 1,500 members strong and growing. So that's pretty cool. The numbers that I quoted here are just for Amazon FBA. They do not include merch, right? We sold about, we've been doing this for just over a year on merch. I'm looking at the numbers here, guys. Let's see. Okay, first of all, the biggest month ever for merch was December, okay? And we did $7,670.71. So that's how much Amazon has deposited into our account. They don't make it very easy to get like the full gross sales. You have to download their Excel sheet and then use that. I'm just looking at their site right now, and I can't do that much math in my head. So I can see the number, though, for the month in terms of the deposit is $7,670. Okay, so that was pretty solid. And the total for all of 2016 for merch is $52,743.22. So that's $52,000 that Amazon has actually deposited into my account just from merch. The actual sales are probably about 4 times that amount, roughly. Actually, no, probably, yeah, at least 3 times. So that would have been around, if I'm guessing here, about $150,000 in sales for the year on the merch program, okay, selling t-shirts and things. But $52,700 was actually deposited into my account for merch. So if you aren't doing merch, I might as well sign up. It's cool. It's easy money, honestly. And it's just, for me now, it's just recurring. It just keeps coming because we're not really doing much with it until they open up the channel a little bit. They allow us to advertise some of the shirts a little bit better. So that was cool. Okay. Again, that 52 grand in profit was outside of the FBA sales, the 1.6 million in sales. That's a separate thing. Freight forwarding, guys, let's talk about that. Man, that's a tricky and confusing topic for many, isn't it? Freight forwarding. People are always asking, well, what can I do? Should I order the stuff through my supplier or get a freight forwarder to send stuff? And should it come from their factory or from the boat in express air or by sea? And it just, there's a million things that you got to deal with, including, customs and all the different codes. And it's a nightmarish if you don't know what you're doing. But guys, eventually you're going to need to educate yourself on the topic. And I do have some great podcasts coming on the subject. So just, hold on for a little bit longer, and we're going to have some really cool guests that are going to really break it down. Speaking of which, with freight forwarding, I finally got December is where I finally got my first orders of 40-foot containers. Okay, before that, my orders were smaller. I was breaking things up. But thanks to the money that I got coming in from the various sources, right? Payability and Upfund and Amazon, all of those things allowed me to order bigger amounts, right? So speaking of which, the FBA loan from Amazon, I ended up getting a $106,000 loan from them. So that was cool. That came in at the tail end of December, where Amazon said, hey, here you go. Here's $106,000 that you can use and just pay it back in 6 months. So I immediately took it, and I heard that within a couple months, they'll potentially offer even more. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see here. What else happened in December? Helium 10. I got to talk about that. Helium 10. You guys know, or if you don't know, I am the founder of Helium 10. Okay. So I sell products on Amazon, right? I want to show you what can be done. I I walk the walk. I do this, guys. I share, my journey as much as I feel comfortable sharing. I try to, give you guys a lot of golden nuggets wherever I can. But I also build tools, okay? And I started building these tools for myself, and now they're available to everybody who wants them, okay? Many of the tools are free. And yeah, so Helium 10, we've been progressing on that, adding new things. In fact, we added 2 new tools in the tail end of December. Many of you who are listening to this, who are probably Helium 10 members, might not even know those tools are on there. We haven't made an official announcement at the time I'm actually recording this. We were waiting to make a few little changes, but everybody's on vacation, right? Because of the holidays. So a couple new tools there, check them out. And the big announcement for that is we switched to a new payment plan, where before everything was credit-based and people were confused, right? Like if I'm spending $97 a month on X amount of credits, how many times can I use this tool if this tool costs Y amount of credits, right? And it just confused people. So now we just tell you, hey, $97 a month, you can use this tool this amount of times, this tool this amount of times, this one's unlimited, and so forth. So you don't have to do any math. It's all set up for you. It's cool. And then at the end of each month, boom, it replenishes. So no matter how many of those you used up, at the beginning of the next billing cycle, you can use it all over again. And I think that's going to be really good for everybody. And it adds a lot of value because your price isn't going up, right? You're still paying $97 or $197 a month, depending on which plan you're on. But as we keep adding features and adding tools, you're still paying the same amount. And your uses on the current tools don't go down. We just start adding more tools and giving you more uses on those tools. So the earlier you can get in, the better. The people that get in early get grandfathered in on some really cool deals. So what else here, guys? I started tracking my keywords closely. That's one thing I started doing in December, big time, okay? I kind of slacked off on that, to be honest. I got so busy with everything that I was ranking organically pretty well for a lot of my big products that I really started to slack off on the tracking, okay? So now I'm really, really watching the keywords for my products, especially the main keywords. And I'm focused on getting them to rank. I'm doing different tactics and strategies and doing different things, right? Using specific services and advertising and whatever I can do to try to get some organic lift out of that, right? Get those keywords to go up, because once they go up, man, you just start making crazy money. Like I generated $1.6 million in sales, and I only spent less than $100,000 to do that, okay? And the majority of that, like I said, was in the beginning of the year to try to get me up to that level where organically I'm generating those sales. So I don't have to pay any kind of advertising now if I don't want to. I could literally cut it all off and I should still be doing pretty well. But anyways, I have all these keywords in there now. I have them sorted appropriately. I add notes to each keyword, by the way, guys, so that it reminds me of anything I'm doing that helps boost it. Okay, this way I can see if the rank is actually increasing or decreasing, and whatever it's doing, I can go back, just look at the notes, and I can say, oh, okay, you know what? This one's increased because I was running this particular ad campaign on Facebook or on AdWords, or I was doing this, or I did this special technique, or I changed this title, or added the keyword here, whatever it might be, okay? So I could just check those notes and instantly see what's going on. And if I didn't have those notes, gosh, I would be lost, right? I wouldn't know what I did to what, because, there's over a dozen products, and there's, hundreds of keywords that I use with each of the products. So that's important. Oh, and if you're curious, the keyword tool that I use, the tracking tool, is one of the tools in Helium 10. Okay, so I use that. It's called Keyword Tracker. So just go in there, and I use it to track all my keywords, and it has a little note feature. So you just click it, just click and add in your note and save it, and it's in there. It's built in. It's stuck with your keyword, and you can keep track of it. So all paid members have access to this, guys. Definitely check it out, okay? I started to use a service to get lost money back from Amazon based on damaged inventory and non-return customer products. When people say they're going to return something and Amazon gives them a refund and the product never arrives. So started doing that. Nothing new here. These services have been around for a while, but I've never used them. But so far so good. I've cleared, or I shouldn't say cleared, I gained back. I was reimbursed about almost $2,000 in 1 month, in the month of December so far. So I had some drinks with the CEO of one of these companies, and we're going to be putting out a great podcast on the topic real soon, just to tell you, what he thinks of how that all works and what you can expect, honestly. It's really inexpensive to do it, and I made my money back on the fee like in 1 day. So pretty cool. Again, I'll talk about that in the very near future here. I want to make it an awesome podcast. If you guys are, really old listeners, you've been listening and following me for a while, you'll remember back in the early podcast days, this might have been somewhere around January, I mentioned that products that I avoid were electronics and this and that and sharp objects. And one of the products was glass products and another product was liquid products, right? And the reasoning behind it was that glass products tend to break when you ship, okay? And liquid products tend to leak, right? It's not a good thing. The potential to get a lot of returns, okay? Or people saying, oh my God, this product, I ordered olive oil and it leaked all over my new iPhone, blah, 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 whatever, right? It's going to be a mess. Mixing the two, glass and liquid, is like, that's worse. I don't even want to give an analogy there. It's just bad, right? So that being said, even though I recommended against doing this kind of stuff in my earlier podcast, I actually wanted to test it. I want to see how viable a product I could make or sell, knowing the risks, okay, and doing everything I can to mitigate those risks, right? So what can I do to ensure that it's not going to leak? And what can I do to ensure that a glass product is almost certainly not going to break, right? What can I do with the packaging to try to get that to happen? So I'm doing some experiments, okay? I've got this product that I'm jumping into, and I'm going to see how it works out. I'm going to keep a very close eye on what people say when they leave feedback and when they leave reviews on the product, and just make sure that there's no issues there. Did I run out of stock this year? Yep, I sure did. I talk about this all the time. In December, I was pretty good, right? I was prepped. I knew what was going to happen. I did run out of stock, but only for a couple days. And, it was because I was prepared, right? I learned my lesson many times through 2016. And I knew that sales were going to 2x, 3x, maybe 4x the normal numbers in December. So I was prepared for that. I ordered enough product, I thought. Certain days, obviously like the day where I did $26,800 in a day. What is that? Geez, that's almost like a 6x or a little more than a 6x over what we normally do. So that kind of throws things off. But then again, December 23rd and 24th, those were 1x, or maybe on the 24th, it was less than 1x. So yeah, I'm learning to balance things now. I can get bigger shipments out now so that doesn't happen. And eventually here, one thing that I have not been doing that I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start utilizing the warehousing deals of companies to actually have products stored at their warehouses versus just sending everything into Amazon and, letting them store it until it sells, because their fees are a lot higher than these other warehouses, right? It could be 2-3 times as high, maybe more. So by utilizing these places, and a lot of these freight forwarders have warehouses that you can utilize to store your product there until you need it. And then when you need it, you call them up, say, hey, I need you to send 2,000 units to Amazon, and they take care of it for you because they're your freight forwarder, right? Makes sense. In 2016, one of the big things was brand gating, right? The tail end of 2016 anyways. And we came out with a service, brandgating.com, okay? And it was used by tons of you. It was a great service. It still is. A lot of people have been using it. And that service is to get your brand on Amazon gated, right? So make sure that nobody else can sell your product. If you have brand gating, you have brand registry, you have brand gating, then it locks your account, or not your account, sorry, your brand, so that a hijacker or another seller can't come on and sell your product. Well, brandgating.com, I have to say, unfortunately, has reached the tipping point, okay? What do I mean by that? We only have one person that can provide this service, right? One attorney that's doing this, and she is maxed out, okay? And then she does want to have some time to do her own thing and, take a vacation here and there. So she just can't keep up. We were just talking about this. So it looks like we're going to be stopping any new orders that are coming in, okay, and putting people that do want to get the brand gating service on a wait list until we can get through the backlog, okay, because everybody in December went crazy with it, right? They wanted to get that brand gating because the month is humongous with sales, so we were overloaded, to say the least. So I guess we talked about two things, and by the time this podcast comes out, we'll probably have decided, but we'll either be stopping the ability for people to just join and pay, okay, you won't be able to do that. You'll be able to sign up and be on a backlog, or we'll be increasing the price point massively. And I'm not talking about like 2x or something like that. We're talking about massive. It's probably going to be like a 4 or 5x increase in price, which I know is going to be prohibitive to a lot of people. So I don't know which one we're going to do, but like I said, one of these is going to be in effect probably by the time you're listening to this. So we're not making an announcement. This is not some kind of marketing trick or scarcity thing or anything like that. If that were the case, I would have announced it, in advance, saying, hey, this is going to happen in 7 days. I'm saying that this is probably already in effect by the time you listen to this. I don't deal and do those gimmicky things. So anyways, yeah, it's a reality. Congratulations to those of you guys that did take the steps to purchase your brand gating from brandgating.com, because you're locked in at this point. So you're good. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that, guys. 2016, we are 95 podcasts in, right? 95 episodes. So that's pretty cool. And our goal for 2017 is going to be to pump these out at a faster rate to get that great content coming out. One of the things that I've really slacked off on, and you guys have called me on it at some points, is that there was no regularity to when we put stuff out, right? Like a lot of other podcasts, they have a schedule. You know, they're coming out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or every Tuesday, or whatever it might be. We didn't. You know, my thing was, I'm going to do my business, my FBA business. That comes first. I've got to get that out. And then my podcast, which is free. I don't charge anybody for this content. I'll do those when I have free time. And I never have free time, so I've got to squeeze it in lieu of sleep or something like that, right? So one of the things I've been doing is really working to outsource a lot of what I do so that I can free up some time. So Guillermo Puyol and myself, and we talked about this, and our goal now for 2017 is to release 4 podcasts every week. So we'll skip Monday. Monday's going to be like a recap day. Plus everybody's really busy on Mondays. And then we'll put a podcast out every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we think that'll be pretty cool. 3 of the podcasts will be quick, so you can get in and out. We call these our FAQ series. So these will be podcasts that are 10 to 15 minutes long. And so you can, listen to them while you're on your way to work or something like that, if that's what you do, or, quick gym workout, walking the dog, whatever. And then we'll have probably one episode, which is our longer style episode. Typically, it'll be an interview or something a little bit more in depth. So that's what we'll be doing. So, prepare for that. That should be pretty cool. And guys, man, 2016, wow. The people that I met, my journey, right? My private label journey through 2016, that was awesome. There's so many great people and so many amazing people in our Facebook group and just everywhere, that we've gone. I couldn't have done this, guys, without my brother from another mother, right? Guillermo Puyol. That guy, he's the most honest, ethical, and incredible business dude I've ever met. Guy's he's just awesome, right? And anybody would be blessed to have a partner like him. I'm super blessed. So Guy, I know you're listening to this probably before it even gets posted. So thank you so much, dude. You're amazing. My brother, another incredibly amazing dude. And this is my actual real brother from the same mother. He's always been there for me personally and business-wise. And now, he's helping me with the entire business here. I'm feeling absolutely awesome that he's taking on more and more of my daily tasks. That's, again, allowing me to get more content out to you guys. So that's pretty cool. And there's a lot of people. Wow. After I did the podcast with Kevin King, you guys know Kevin, and he opened up his home to me. The first time I went out to Austin, I crashed over there. I was beat. I was exhausted. And he didn't know me really, other than, the podcast we did. And so he's just super generous. We went on some adventures there in Austin when I visited. It was awesome. And we became very close friends. Guy's great. I speak to Casey Goss now every week. He's one of the smartest guys I've met in this industry. I'm always learning from him. He's one of the guys, one of the very few guys actually, that I actually talk to on a regular basis that always has something interesting and new, when we talk. And I'm like, I didn't know that. So we like bouncing ideas off each other. So that guy is cool. I'm looking forward to getting to know Casey a lot better. And yeah, him and his brother are cool dudes, man. Jason and Matt from amazing.com. They've been amazing, honestly. Their name says who they are. I'm just glad that we had the opportunity to hang out, get to know each other, and we had dinner, and I spoke at their event, and I know that Jason's going through some tough times right now, so I wish him and his family the best. But those guys are just incredible. They're cool. So also in Austin, I'm thinking I might have to move out to Austin. All the guys that are out there, Guy's in Texas, Jason and Matt have places out there, Kevin's out there. Anyways, I could make this sound like an Oscar speech and list everybody I've spoken to or met, but that would just drag on and way too long, bore you guys. So we'll skip that. You guys know who you are. You know who the cool guys are that I've met. That said, what are my goals in 2017? Okay, let's close this out here. I think I'm going to save that question actually for another podcast where I break things down that hopefully some of you can implement as well, those steps, right? But I can say this is something I've thought about. I want 2017 to be the year that sets up 2018 to be my first 8-figure year ever, okay? I don't think I can hit 8 figures in 2017. I don't think it's realistic, okay? I did 1.6 million this year in sales. I think going from 1.6 million to 10 million next year is unrealistic. Just the financial cash flow side of it probably wouldn't allow it. I'd have to do monster months in the last half of the year, and I don't see it. But then again, that's what I said at the beginning of 2016 when I wanted to hit 250,000 in sales. and I ended up doing 1.6. So you never know, but I know that 2017 is going to be the month or the year, where I really set things up so that the start of 2018, those will be $1 million months, $1 million plus. That's my goal. We'll see if it happens. Finally, guys, I want to mention I'm going to be putting on an elite conference, okay? One for successful sellers that will blow your expectations away, okay? It's going to be nuts. It's not going to be cheap, by the way. It's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be huge. There's not going to be a ton of people, okay? It's going to be for serious sellers at an awesome location. And when you walk away, you're going to have heard and learned tactics and strategies that have not been discussed. These things are going to pay for the event tenfold over, maybe more, right? It's going to be crazy. You're going to want to secure a seat at every year event that we do once you have a taste of what we're doing. I guarantee it. It's just going to be insane. I'm implementing all of these crazy things already. Some of them are amazing. And these are the things that really we can't talk about on the podcast just because they're either way too advanced, or if you have a ton of people using them, it just kind of breaks everything for everybody. So I'm going to announce more information on this when it's available. I can tell you right now, it's called the Illuminati Mastermind, okay? And if you'd like to get on the early bird notification list, we're going to have some kind of rudimentary site up, but you can head over to illuminatimastermind.com. And like I said, I will announce more information both on our Facebook group and on the podcast once we have that going. But it's coming very, very soon. But illuminatimastermind.com, like I said, it's going to be very limited. It's going to be amazing. It's not like anything else that you see out there. So definitely check that out. And guys, I hope that you've learned a thing or two by following my first year journey on Amazon. I know I've learned a lot. I met some amazing people. I've had some crash and burns and some struggles with seller support that have just, made me pull my hair out. I'm definitely way more bald than I was when I started. But I hope to continue to bring, good value to you guys in 2017. And I want you guys to keep me honest in our Facebook group. If you like something, let me know so that I can make more of that. If you don't like something, let me know so we don't continue to do it, right? That's what I love about our community, our FBA High Rollers group, is that you guys, keep it real. You guys post in there and say what's on your mind. So feel free to respond to the post I'll make on our group with this podcast and let me know what your thoughts are. And let me know where you guys are in your journey, where you were and what you did in 2016. I want to hear that. And guys, if you want to be on the podcast, okay, if you're listening to this and you have a story to tell, something that's inspirational, something that, completely blew your mind, you did way better than you thought, you've got something you think people would like to hear, you got some nuggets, let me know. Reach out to me on the group. Talk to Guy as well. Guy's usually a little easier to reach because I have so many people reaching out to me. But the best way if you want to get on the podcast is to go to our ampmpodcast.com website, and there's a contact button in there where you can actually leave a little voicemail. So just leave a voicemail and say what it is you'd like to talk about, and we'll go from there. I'd love to have more of our members on the show. That said, thank you so much, everybody, for being a listener, hopefully a subscriber. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thanks for the support and keep crushing it. We'll talk soon. If you enjoyed this episode, please check out episode number 94, where Casey Goss and myself talk about black hat content. That's right. We talk about what other sellers are doing in order to game the system and get page 1 ranks on Amazon. This is information that other people don't like to talk about, but we think it's important that you know what other sellers are up to. So again, that's episode number 94. Hey guys, Manny Coats here. If you've been following my podcast, you know I'm a huge fan of the Helium 10 tools for Amazon sellers. I only use the best tools out there, and the Helium 10 suite of tools are, in my opinion, best in class. Now, just because I'm the founder of Helium 10 doesn't mean that's all I use, right? I go where the money's at, and if there's a tool on the market that I haven't made and that tool helps me make money, I'll use it, and I'll talk about it here on the podcast, and I'll even link to it in our tools section at the ampmpodcast.com website. But I can honestly say that there's no place that I know of where you can get all the important tools that an FBA seller would need in one place, where the tools work with one another to help you save time and make you a lot of money. Now, the Helium 10 tools have had a huge hand in helping me go from 0 to over $1 million in Amazon sales in just 10 months. Okay, keyword research, listing optimization, and a super tool called 5K Checker that makes sure that the words in my listings, okay, the front end and the back end, are actually indexed by Amazon. And guys, if you're not checking this, you're leaving money on the table for sure, because Amazon is always tweaking their search engine. Okay, so I always use 5K Checker every single month on every single one of my listings to ensure that my listings are still indexed for my keywords and that I'm still pulling in customers like crazy. If you're a longtime listener, you know I'll never use a tool unless it can save me a lot of time or it's gonna make me a lot of money. So I'm confident Helium 10 will do this for you guys, all right? There's a money-back guarantee, so there's no risk. Check it out. Head over to helium10.com. Helium10.com. That's HELIUM10.com.
You've been listening to the AM PM podcast hosted by Manny Coats. For more information, insider tools, and to get the resources mentioned in this episode, visit ampmpodcast.com.